Introducing Instagram Teen Accounts, a new way to keep your teen safer as they grow, like making sure they always have their seatbelt on.
All right, buckle up. Good job.
New Instagram Teen Accounts, automatic protections for who can contact your teen and the content they can see.
Ryan Reynolds here from Mint Mobile with a message for everyone paying big wireless way too much. Please, for the love of everything good in this world, stop. With Mint, you can get premium wireless for just $15 a month. Of course, if you enjoy overpaying, no judgments, but that's weird. Okay, one judgment. Anyway, give it a try at mintmobile.com/switch.
Upfront payment of $45 for 3-month plan, equivalent to $15 per month required. Intro rate first 3 months only, then full price plan options available. Taxes and fees extra. See full terms at mintmobile.com.
Fratelloni's Hardware and Garden Stores brings your Garage Logic podcast, number 1106, June 29th, 2023. 102 degrees on this day in 1931. Whoa. And 47 degrees on this day in 1924. You're not going to get a better swimming season than we're in the midst of, and I hope you're using products from Aquaside to keep your beach free of weeds and algae and vegetative matter that's decaying there, and the kids don't like it. Aquaside has been keeping beaches and swimming areas free of weeds for more than 60 years with a great line of products manufactured in White Bear Lake. They work quickly. They're easy to use. They're approved by all of the proper alphabet organizations. And all you got to do is call Aquaside, describe to them what you're dealing with, what you're looking at. They'll make sure you get the right product, and you'll get it quickly, and your problem will be taken care of, and your beach will suddenly be the envy of that side of the lake. Call Aquaside at 1-800-328-9350 or go to aquaside.com.
And now, from the mayor's office above the boathouse on the east shore of Spoon Lake, it's Garage Logic with Chris Reavers manning Technology Corner, Kenny Olson from the Krabby Coffee Shop, John Haidt in the newsroom, and of course, the Rookie. Here is your flashlight king, fireworks commissioner, and the keeper of common sense, your mayor, Joe Soucheray.
Yesterday we mentioned the name Amherst Willoughby. He came up on this day in history. And I knew I'd seen it before. Emailer Bert had been using that name to sign off on his emails. Last year when the traveling linemen brought Amherst Willoughby, that name, through last year's This Day in History.
Okay.
And he thinks, he not only thinks Amherst Willoughby would be a good name for a band, he would call it Amherst Willoughby and his Steampunk Orchestra.
That's pretty good.
And all members would be required to have ridiculous mustaches.
Okay.
It would also be a great name for a dining establishment, Amherst Willoughby's Collegial Emporium of Imperious Victuals. Would make for an enormous sign.
Yeah.
But what the hell? Your pal Amherst. Amherst Willoughby. I used him today. I used the name today in my note to the town council. Amherst Willoughby's car blew up during last year's fireworks celebration on the shores of Spoon Lake. Remember?
Yes.
He parked his 1937 LaSalle way too close to the shooting stage, and it blew up, and he suffered a serious blow to his neck scale.
Right.
But then he compounded that by replacing the LaSalle with a Prius.
Oh.
So now the town council will read, there's the Willoughby rule. You have to park uptown and walk down to the beach.
Yeah, just precaution.
So no more car. And we'll have fireworks. We're not having a laser show.
Oh, my God. Thank you for that. It was in the budget again this year?
Yeah, we got it.
Read me the name of the restaurant again. I want to see if we can come up with a clever, like, CBGB's thing.
Amherst Willoughby's Collegial Emporium of Imperious Victuals.
I-V. Yeah, that doesn't come up with anything.
AWCEIV.
Yeah.
Amherst Willoughby's Collegial Emporium of Imperious Victuals.
Yeah, and you're dropping the of there. Sieve. Yeah, that doesn't work.
And Rook, I think Kelsey noted that a fellow at the airport, I don't know if you were involved in this, I certainly hope not. No, not in his activities, but did you have to be involved in dealing with the fellow? Somebody was recording men in a restroom.
Yeah, I did see. I didn't see that. I saw that in the paper.
Tapes have now been discovered of you, but you were only caught eating.
I was eating. Yeah, I'm on the list. I mean,
You weren't even in the men's room. You were just behind corners.
What?
Exactly.
Are you guys
behind the magazine racks?
Exactly. Just testing out the food.
What are you talking about? I have no frame of reference
A worker
there.
at the airport was arrested for filming bathroom activity.
Like put the old camera under the stall. And, hey, I mean, nothing is more romantic than a gentleman, dropping a deucer in the men's room.
They're upskirt videos for guys.
Yes.
There's
you really
some
have to
things-
be something for everyone.
You know what? There's some things in life I just don't understand.
Yeah.
Yeah, nothing says romantic about that. There's nothing romantic about that.
No,
Push.
no, please. Jeez. Did we cover the fact that New York is getting rid of its wood-fired pizzerias?
Oh,
Did John mention that in his news? I don't
did
remember.
I?
This happened on a day when New Yorkers couldn't see across the street because of Canadian wildfires. But we're going to get rid of wood-fired and coal-fired pizza ovens because we have to save the earth in New York.
Please tell me I sent you the email.
You probably did. I don't know.
God damn it.
What?
Oh, it was such a great, it was from the New York Post. It was a piece from the Post about this. And they had a stat that, New York, it's something about John Kerry's jet and what he spews out in the course of a year.
Yeah, more than a pizza oven.
Yeah, more than a pizza oven would put out in like 1,000 years or something outrageous like that. Now I've got to try to find it.
You also know that New York City is ready to impose on residents and visitors the fee to drive a car in the city.
Isn't that something?
$23
Wow.
if you enter the city.
So they're just, you're talking Manhattan or the whole city?
Well, I have the piece here. I'm believing it's the whole city. Now, I have said before, because, and I apply rationale to this, or rationality. Excuse me, I dropped my pencil, and I need it as a security item, don't I, Rook?
Yes, you do.
If I lived in New York, I wouldn't own a car. And if I did, it would be obviously just to get away on weekends. I'd have to find a garage for it somewhere.
Right.
But I'm not, in any event. The news of this came within hours of New York City officials ordering pizzerias that use coal or wood-burning ovens to slice their carbon emissions by 75% or face fines, all in the name of protecting our mother. Up to 100 restaurants could be affected by this. You know what?
A bunch of fools.
Aren't you tired of foolish humans?
Yes.
And in the meantime, I think London has a congestion charge.
They do?
I'm sure it's coming to a city near you. Minneapolis would love nothing more than to ban cars. $23 a day to enter Manhattan south of 60th Street as a plan to get people out of their cars and onto public transportation or just start walking. Well, not everybody can. You ever been to New York City? All three of us have been to New York
Yes.
City.
Yeah,
Anytime.
I've seen a lot of people who can't walk.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
The exact amount of money to be charged is still to be decided by the Metropolitan Transportation Authority.
Wow.
All right. It cleared its final federal hurdle after getting approved by the Federal Highway Administration, said a spokesperson for New York City said a spokesman for New York Governor Kathy Hochul. With the green light from the federal government, we look forward to moving ahead with the implementation of this program, Hochul said. She's a Mysterian. Well, then that means, Hochul, you better not be caught in a car. You're the governor. When you come to town, you better walk.
You know there's a way around this. in this case, I need to be there in a hurry because it's my job to save New York from.
You're giving the John Kerry answer. You just give the John Kerry answer.
Yeah.
I'm in charge of trying to bring this fight and save the world.
I'm
so
a warrior.
I have to fly because I'm important. Go bleep yourself.
Come on.
Here it is, Joe, from the New York Post. Green madness. You'd have to burn a pizza stove for 849 years to equal 1 year of John Kerry's private jet. That's the headline in the Post.
Officials in New Jersey sharply oppose this because of all the people from New Jersey who are bound for Manhattan. It's just another way to tax people. That's all it is. And remember, the fight for the environment has nothing to do with the environment.
Did you say how they're going to collect this? Is it going to be tolls?
Yes, it'll be some form of tolling. And I don't know literally if they're going to have to create new kiosks for that, or maybe you get billed electronically like that tollway in Illinois. Where
it'll be a reader.
Yeah, it just picks up your deal and... There you go.
Can you buy out? Is there a buyout?
Like, what do you mean, like the HOV lane?
Yeah, just
Can
pay
you
a
just sign
flat
up?
fee, right?
Yeah,
Instead of nickel and diming me to death, is there?
It's like the Min-Pass lane.
Yeah.
What's that word in the Catholic Church?
Indulgence.
Yeah, is there a... No, what's that? Can you pay a plenary indulgence?
Plenary indulgent.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's a line somewhere.
That's all Kerry does. He pays plenary, or he plants a tree.
Right.
Because that's helpful.
He's offsetting it all.
He sends his money to Al Gore. We know he's making money off this.
He's raking it in.
He was the OG when it came to the planet, man.
Say the air's clearing up a bit, huh?
Oh, it's so humid.
It's still pretty darn.
Joe.
I love it. I love it. Every day's a gift, Kenny.
So miserable.
Every day's a gift. And I'm just enjoying the summer weather. See,
this every day is a
tough to
gift.
breathe.
BS. This just came up. Just came on here in the last 7 days.
Yeah,
Chunks of soot.
All of a sudden, he showed up for work, happy to be alive.
Yeah, I'm good. I'm happy. Right. Let me tell you something. What I was building up to with this gorgeous weather is it's just couldn't be a better grilling week ahead. 4th of July coming up. Great weekend this weekend. I hope you're going to get to Grunhofer's Old Fashioned Meats in Hugo.
You know who's on his way right now?
Who?
Gabriel Thomas Mikulski.
Did you give him a fistful of cash?
I'll have to pay him, but here's... you want the order?
Yeah, what are you going to get from Grunhofer's?
Here's the order for Grunhofer's.
Is he going to the Hugo store or Forest Lake?
He'll go to Hugo because he's familiar with that.
Just a bit north of Hugo on Highway 61.
Exactly. 2 pounds of thick sliced double smoked bacon. Because I'm thinking ahead to the weekend, and putting it on the grill.
Yeah.
12 rookie burgers.
Jesus.
A pack of cheddar cheese brats.
Oh, Jesus.
A pack of wild rice brats. And then I said, whatever else you want. And they're just going to get some regular brats.
Is this now just to cover one day at Rookie's Family?
Well, we're having a little get-together tonight, so we're going to grill, have a fire.
Party time?
Everybody's in town, so plus we got to finish the beer and wine left over from his graduation
And you're
party.
going to have a fire, you said.
Yeah.
It's 105.
I love having a fire.
Well, I'm glad he's going to Grunhofer's. You know perfectly well how satisfied you'll be.
Oh, my God. It's just going to be... I can't wait. I can't wait.
It's one of the world's great meat emporiums.
A rookie burger on the Blackstone tonight with bacon. And whatever kind of cheese you want. Yeah, I didn't invite you, so
Mother
you can't come
of pearl.
over. You can't come over.
There's also a Grunhofer's if you're headed up north on 35. Swing off 35 on 97. Go a block east. Maybe 2 blocks east. Boom, there's another Grunhofer's location right there. And you just can't beat it. It's Grunhofer's Old Fashioned Meats. It's where garage logicians meet to eat.
Yeah, you're not kidding.
Here's a guy who
Joe's not out of the trailer yet.
It's Positive Thursday at GL. That's good. That means Schoonover's on the horn with us. But Joe is anything but positive today. Schoonover Body Works and Auto Care. Shoreview, 1060 County Road E.
I'm positive today. I met with Mike and Noah the other day. We had a pleasant visit, and the temperature in the trailer is about 32 below.
However, what's the problem, Such?
Just a door fit deal that we've talked about. It's no big deal, but Schoon can fix it.
Not your dumb problem. Why are you going to call Mike on the carpet today?
I wasn't.
Something about a floor?
Oh, Mike said Mike, explain that. You had to go back to the trailer because something happened with the floor.
Yeah. We had furniture set up last week, and we were ready to move in, and the floor just didn't look quite right. So we had them repolish the concrete floor in the lobby. So, that's first world problems, but
yeah,
you've turned into one of your customers, Mike.
Well, hey, whenever you can do that, that's turnabout is fair play, right?
It's going to be a big operation, I'll tell you that.
Well, we're going to be ready to roll in about a month when we have access to all the garages, and then when our GLers come in and they're going to have service work done, they're going to enjoy the space that they're going to hang out and relax.
Yep.
Have I asked you about the construction on Lexington, Mike, between County E and 694? When is that supposed to be over?
I was just down there the other day, or I just went through there the other day. It's a lot better, and it's a really sore spot in the neighborhood because those businesses have been struggling with this it's going on, well over a year, and they've been, seriously impacted by it. But it's coming along. They're making progress. So. It'll be really, really nice when it's all said and done. So, GLers, if you've been avoiding Lexington and all the stores and shops along there, in just I think just a month or two, it's all going to be done, and go visit those people.
Plus,
go visit them now because they need the work.
Yeah,
they need the help. So
I used to slip up there. There's a smoke shop up there right by that Cub Foods that I used to frequent quite a bit. And if you need to get to Schoonovers, you can just access County E from Highway 51, Snelling Avenue. It's really easy.
Yeah. Hey, but you know what else is really cool? What's going right next to us is the grand opening is tomorrow. Is we have Vino Veritas, which is a wine bar. So. Right next door to our facility, GLers can go hang out and have small plates and drink wine.
That's a hell of a waiting room.
That's really cool. You go get hammered while your car's getting painted.
Watch yourselves while you're waiting for an oil change. You might get your stumble on. You might need to drive them home, Mike.
Just a little ice cream.
And we got a new spot for safety meetings. So life is good up here on County Road E.
I love the safety meetings. Those are always fun during the hockey season, too. We'd have the parental safety meeting before the game, usually at a place that served alcohol. But you're going to have people booking appointments and say, what's wrong with the car? Nothing. I just want to come over and drink wine, but I just figured I'd make an appointment.
That'll help ease the pain when you have to deal with insurance agents.
Absolutely. No, things are going good. So all is well up here. So
all right. That's all I have, Mike, unless you want to rip on insurance agents or insurance
let's say that
companies.
Next week. I'm just going to say, GLers, buyer beware. Buyer beware. We'll talk about it next week.
This might be the first time we've ever promoted next week's talk with Mike Schoonover. A very positive discussion today, even involving Such. I'm really happy about that. GLers, keep in mind anything you need related to your automobile can be found at Schoonover Body Works and Auto Care, 1060 County E in Shoreview, one of the Metro's best shops, GL's official body shop, SchoonoverBodyWorks.com. Thanks, Mike.
See you, Mike.
You bet. Have a happy and safe 4th of July, everybody.
See ya.
Right.
Thank you. I wish my mother was alive to hear this. A guy named John Fram alerted me to this. It's a piece from a site called The Imaginative Conservative. And it's a piece from February 12 of this year.
Okay.
And I'm unfamiliar with The Imaginative Conservative, and I would not have seen this. But it turns out that in 1947, which is what? That's 76 years ago,
Yep.
Bishop Fulton J. Sheen predicted, he wasn't in the prediction business, but he concluded that what was happening to our society is exactly what we're seeing today. And he reached this conclusion in 1947 when he said, "Why is it that so few realize the seriousness of our present crisis? Partly because men do not want to believe their own times are wicked, partly because it involves too much self-accusation, and principally because they have no standards outside of themselves by which to measure their times. Only those who live by faith really know what is happening in the world." And this was a talk he gave, and he said, "We are at the end of Christendom." He said this in 1947. He didn't mean the end of Christianity or the church. He said we're at the end of Christendom as it might affect political and social life, that it was becoming absent. We're seeing it die, he said.
This was in 47?
In 1947. It was on one of his radio broadcasts. And I've told you guys before that my mom was a friend of Bishop Fulton J. Sheen.
How did that
I
happen?
mean, on a plane?
Because he's from New York, wasn't he?
He was in town for an appearance. He had a popular television show. You have to be my age, really, to remember it. And I can't honestly say we were made to watch it, but I can remember it was always on its weekly basis.
Okay.
And he was a spooky-looking guy. He had the hollow cheeks, and he was pasty, but he was a cool guy. Whatever it was back in 1947, he got it. He was hip for the times. And he had a chalkboard, and I can still see him writing on the chalkboard. Well, he wasn't a hellfire, a brimstone, and whatever that term. He wasn't a television evangelist.
Wasn't Billy Graham.
No, he just was a well-spoken guy who happened to be a bishop in New York. And anyway, he was in town.
Life is Worth Living was the name of his show.
Yeah. He was in town in 1963, and that happened to coincide with my old man taking my mother to New York. She'd never been on a plane before.
Oh.
And they were going to go on a vacation, which was really strange because, there were 15, 16 of us. And so she gets to the airport, and it was winter, and it was drizzly and foreboding, and she just couldn't take it. And sure enough, in the waiting area was Bishop Sheen. And he noticed my mother's anxiety. And he walked over and he said, "Well, first of all, why don't you take off those tight shoes you're wearing and wear my slippers?" He had those cool bishop slippers.
Yeah.
So the next thing you know, my mom's wearing, and Bishop Sheen was her idol. She couldn't believe
she was starstruck.
Couldn't believe she was in the same room with the guy. So she starts wearing his slippers. And he starts asking her questions, how many kids you got, and this and that and the other thing. I'm going to condense this story. By the time they got to New York, he was their servant. He sent his Rolls Royce for them the next morning to come to his house, where he said mass for them, my mom and dad. And then they had breakfast together. And then he said, "What play would you like to see?" And I can't remember the name of the play, but of course he was so connected.
Cat on a hot tin roof.
He had two tickets for them that I'm sure were perfect seats. So they had a play, and then they had dinner with them before the play. But that day, the bishop said to my dad, "Why don't you take the Rolls Royce for the day? I'll send you my driver. He'll tour you guys around wherever you want to go."
Yeah.
And the old man ate that up because he's a car freak.
Right.
And he never would have been in a Rolls Royce before. So they had, they had that day with the bishop's Rolls Royce. And then in the years that ensued, they corresponded. And it all worked out. And my mother, of course, credits him for a safe trip and the whole deal.
Well, he did study at the St. Paul Seminary.
Yes. I think he's from Illinois originally.
Your pops didn't give the old bishop the side eye when he was hitting on your mom?
Mary Helen, you already got his slippers on.
No, he would have encouraged it so he could get the Rolls Royce.
He's one of us.
But he goes on in this radio speech that he said that men aren't turning to God. Rather, they'll turn from indifference to having a passion for an absolute. The struggle will be for the souls of men. The conflict of the future is between the absolute, who is the God-man, and the absolute, which is the man-God. The God who became man and the man who makes himself God, brothers in Christ and comrades in Antichrist. Sheen went on to describe the Antichrist, which we'll leave for another time, rather than now to say his religion will be brotherhood without the fatherhood of God. He will deceive even the elect. The saintly bishop brings in, look him up, by the way. Is he a saint?
I think they started the process.
The saintly bishop brings in communism, too, which has its place in what's going on at the time and beyond. Remember what Our Lady of Fatima said about Russia spreading its errors if the world did not heed Our Lady's directives. And damn it, I screwed up the printing again, so this printing is cutting off a lot. Sheen gave another reason why a crisis must come: to prevent a false identification of the church in the world. Our Lord wanted his followers to be different from those who were not. I have taken you out of the world, therefore the world hates you. Even in those 1947 days, Sheen saw mediocrity and compromise characterize the lives of many Christians. Many read the same novels as modern pagans, educated their children in the same godless way, listened to the same commentators who have no other standard than judging today by yesterday and tomorrow by today, allow pagan practices such as divorce and remarriage to creep into the family. They are not wanting so-called Catholic labor leaders recommending communists for Congress, or Catholic writers who accept presidencies in communist front organizations to instill totalitarian ideas in movies. In other words, he was a hardcore righty.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
There is no longer the conflict and opposition which is supposed to characterize us. We are influencing the world less than the world influences us. There is no apartness. He quoted St. Paul on this very idea, telling Corinthians, what has innocence to do with lawlessness? What is there in common between light and darkness? What harmony between Christ and Belial? Sheen perfectly mirrored 2018-19 headlines when it comes to people standing up for faith, pro-life, and for marriage. And this, again, the printer let me down, but it's just an amazing look at what we're seeing today. He said the family is disintegrating with one divorce for every 2 marriages in 35 major cities in the U.S., with 5 divorces for every 6 marriages in Los Angeles. There's no denying that something has snapped. Anyone who has had anything to do with God is hated today. Oh, boy. Whether his vocation was to announce his divine son, as did the Jew, or to follow him as the Christian, Sheen was not fearful for the church, but fearful for the world in speaking of the emergence of the Antichrist.
Wow.
We tremble not that God may be dethroned, but that barbarianism may reign, barbarism. It is not transubstantiation that may perish, but the home. Not the sacraments that may fade away, but the moral law. The church can have no different words for the weeping woman than those of Christ on his way to Calvary. Weep not over me, but weep for yourselves and for your children. I've said, without knowing the bishop said it, that we've had a serious decline of moral and ethical integrity in this country. Christians must realize that a moment of crisis is not a time of despair, but of opportunity. The more we can anticipate the doom, the more we can avoid it. Once we recognize we are under divine wrath, we can become eligible for divine mercy. It was because of famine the prodigal said, I will arise and will go to my father. I didn't mean to get so on a religious stump today. I don't necessarily follow religion that closely.
Actually, it's really fascinating. Please keep going.
It was because of famine the prodigal said, I will arise and will go to my father. The very disciplines of God create hope. The thief on the right came to God by a crucifixion. The Christian finds a basis for optimism in the most thoroughgoing pessimism, for his Easter is within 3 days of Good Friday. Sheen offered this great hope-filled encouragement, too. One of the surprises of heaven will be to see how many saints were made in the midst of chaos, war, and revolution. He points out the great multitude standing before the throne of God and identified as, these are the ones who have survived the time of great distress. They have washed their robes and made them white in the blood of the Lamb. God Almighty. Our divine Lord had pictured the catastrophes that would fall upon a morally disordered civilization. He did not say fear, but when these signs begin to happen, stand erect and raise your heads because your redemption is at hand. Luke 21:28. He told Jews, Protestants, and Catholics that the world is serving your souls an awful summons, the summons to heroic efforts at spiritualization. What else do we have here?
Do you know that the actor Ramon Gerard Antonio Estevez adopted the stage name of Martin Sheen, partly in admiration of the bishop?
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
Wow, how far Martin Sheen's son has traveled from that.
Yeah.
Charlie, wow.
Yeah, he's off the beaten path, so to speak.
In any event, what the bishop certainly recognized 76 years ago was what we grasp with in our own amateur way here, and that is, wondering what the hell's going on. We're in the midst of a mystery. What is happening? What is happening to moral and ethical integrity? And here's old Sheen, was just a television guy, and he really was a sharp thinker. Huh?
He called it.
I thought you said call him, and I was going to say I think that'd be tough.
I think he passed in 79, if I remember, born in 1895. So I'm just really curious here, your opinion. Do you think the Antichrist is a person or a thing?
I think it's a thing.
In the form of?
Ideology that's been corrupted.
Day of the Beast. Do you think the beast is actually, well, same question, a being or a thing or a concept?
I guess I think it's a concept.
It'd be fun to have a father, a preacher, or somebody on to talk about this. This stuff fascinates me.
In 1947, Sheen pointed out the signs of the times reveal were definitely at the end of a non-religious era of civilization. In 1947, which regarded religion as an addendum to life, to pious extra, a morale builder for the individual, but of no social relevance, an ambulance that took care of the wrecks of the social order until science reached a point where there would be no more wrecks, which called on God only as a defender of national ideals or as a silent partner, but who had nothing to say about how the business should be run. I think I believe it or not, I think I know what that means. We went about our lives with the guardrail being God.
Okay.
There is no more guardrail. Then the great bishop said something that at first seems to be shocking as we look at today. The new era into which we are entering is what might be called the religious phase of human history. But he quickly said this didn't mean men will turn to God. Rather, they'll turn from indifference to having a passion for an absolute. The struggle will be for the souls of men. The conflict of the future is between the absolute, who is the God-man, and the absolute, which is the man-God. The God who becomes man and the man who makes himself God. I struggle to lead that. I think I get it, vaguely. I think I get it. As long as far long ago as 76 years ago, Sheen, surrounded by the trappings of privilege and wealth, and in New York, had a fabulous brownstone that was his own place. Looked out at the world and said, "We can't keep doing this.
Houston, we have a problem.
we have a problem."
And it's funny, he talks about the same thing that you've. God, I don't even compare you to him.
No, don't.
Whoa, yeah.
But basically, the breakdown of family, divorce, and et cetera, stuff that we've been talking about a long time.
He breaks it down by cities.
Yeah, family, divorce, abortion, immorality, and general dishonesty.
What would Sheen tell us today as we've deteriorated far beyond what he already saw? Sheen added, every now and then in history, the devil is given a long rope.
Yeah.
For we must never forget that our Lord said to Judas and his band, this is your hour. God has his day, but evil has its hour when the shepherd shall be struck and the sheep dispersed.
Judas had a band?
Yeah, they were. They played.
They were Bob Dylan's backup band.
They were an arena tour.
Okay.
Oh man! As I say, I wish my mom was around to hear this. She would have said, "Oh, of course, that's what he said." But she was a friend of his, and I can only say that he sure demonstrated he was a good guy, and I choose to believe that he would have acted the way he did in that airport lounge to any woman he saw struggling, not just her. I think it could have been anyone that he might have reached out to. So there you have it. And everything we're seeing is not new, but look at how long in the 76 years it's taken for Sheen to be seen even more accurately. In other words, families are still hanging on, religion is still hanging on, but you can see how tattered it's all become.
Right.
Just so tattered around the edges. And it'd be fascinating to see a guy like that, what he would say today. Probably he would say is, yeah, what's your point? I saw this coming 76 years ago.
We don't have an equivalent today, do we? You can't go to the Pope. That's too big.
I'm unaware of an equivalent.
Okay.
Maybe there is one. I have no idea. I don't know for a fact. I no longer have a garage door guy.
What? You don't have a guy?
I got the whole family.
Oh, you've got a team.
I got the whole team. I got Precision Garage Door, Twin Cities. They serve the Metro and Western Wisconsin. They're a GL family. In fact, when you hire them, let them know you appreciate a GL family. They fix everything from the remote to the springs to the rollers. If you need a new door, they have you covered. They're available on weekends, and they don't charge more for weekends. And you don't want to come out. I told you, they're in charge of preventing conk-outs. You don't want to come out and have that thing conked out on you, because then you got to lift it, and sometimes those doors are extraordinarily heavy. You might want to improve your curb appeal quotient. They've got a wide, they'll get you any door you want. You need a door, they can get you a door. They can get you a door. And they aren't happy till you are, but they want to do that the first time. You're busy, they're busy. They fix garage doors correctly. And as I said, they're available 24/7. Don't charge more on weekends. And they're a GL family serving the Metro and Western Wisconsin. Get help online immediately at precisiondoormn.com.
Suchi Boy, you're talking about the garage, but I'm talking about common sense. I'm talking about philanthropy. The people at Minnesota Masonic Charities, mnmasoniccharities.org, are doing wonderful work. Fulton Sheen would be very proud of the guys and gals at Minnesota Masonic Charity with their philanthropy. Through the generosity and compassion of the Masonic fraternity members, past and present, Minnesota Masonic Charities has grown to become a leading grant maker in the state of Minnesota, capable of influencing outcomes in significant cases such as cancer research, children's health. The organization provides over $6 million annually in mission and other grants addressing the most critical issues faced by our society today, and becoming the University of Minnesota's largest single donor in history. Why do I tell you this? Because they want to get the word out. They are philanthropic, and they want you to see who they're giving money to. The scholarship program, if you go to the website, mnmasoniccharities.org, click on scholarships, and you will learn exactly what they do, how they work, who gets the scholarships, and you'll also learn the deadline. It's just easy. It's just absolute garage logic in motion. 952-948-6200 if you have a specific question. But poke around the website. You'll be fully educated on the great work they do. Minnesota Masonic Charities. Let them know that the Rook sent you.
Yeah.
This guy wears many hats, just not indoors. Joe Souchere.
My notes say goose poop on the golf cart. We talked about it yesterday with Bugs Be Gone. We determined bird poop is organic, and I was wondering, would it work? Well, I tested it. Some angry, I don't know what the angry bird was. Maybe it's one of those pigeons that I've been firing warning shots with them. I'll be honest with you, with the 410. They've been paying me back by, occasionally swinging over the truck as it's parked there in the yard and offering their gifts to me. And so I hit it with a little Bugs Be Gone, let it sit there. I really didn't have to let it sit long, and then just washed it away. It was perfect. That's why I keep Bugs Be Gone right in the truck, in the door. So when I pull up to the pump, the gas pump, before I even hook up the hose, I spray down the windshield, then I get the gas going. And then I just wash the window like usual. Bugs gone in a jiffy, right away. It really works well. You don't have to sit there and you don't get the elbow thing going. So keep a jug with you. Pick it up anywhere, and keep a jug with you in the car. It works. It's safe for all finishes. It's non-toxic. It's a water-based formula. Leaves no film, no haze when it dries. And like I said, works on anything with organic, campers, bikes, boat services, your golf cart. Just spray it on, wash it off, bugs are gone. Another wonderful product for our vehicles from the fine folks at Seafoam.
I have a note from a 29-year-old Garage Logic business owner who writes, here is a video recording of the Sparkle Creed of a Lutheran church in Edina Community Lutheran Church. I'm appalled by this. I will no longer be part of an ECLA Lutheran church. This is spreading everywhere. The new God is the alphabet people. Wouldn't it be fun to know what a Bishop Sheen would think of this? Alpha News printed this story. The Star Tribune and Pioneer Press did not. I was not aware of it until emailers made me aware of it. But God, I'd love to know what Sheen would say. A Lutheran church in Edina stood for the reading of the Sparkle Creed. I didn't know there was such a thing, did you?
I didn't know there was a Sparkle
during
Creed.
A church service, according to a live stream available on its YouTube page. I believe in a non-binary God whose pronouns are plural, Pastor Anna Helgen said during Sunday service. I believe in Jesus Christ, their child, who wore a fabulous tunic and had two dads.
Huh? Wait, what?
I don't have a button for this.
Who were the two dads?
Yeah.
Mary was Mary.
Mary was a Mary.
Joseph
was a
carpenter.
Joseph. I believe in the rainbow spirit who shatters our image of one white light and refracts it into a rainbow of gorgeous diversity, she said. The congregation, led by Helgen, proclaim their belief in the Church of Everyday Saints as numerous, creative, and resilient as patches on the AIDS quilt. Okay? I believe love is love is love, so beloved, let us love, the creed concluded.
I'm trying to find the history of it, where it...
Yeah, who wrote it?
During the same service, Helgen invoked lyrics from Taylor Swift songs.
Well, of course, that
while
fits.
praying over Swifties. While praying over the Swifties who attended last weekend's concerts. The Sparkle Creed was created by a woman named Rachel Small-Stokes.
She's from Diversityville, huh?
A pastor from Louisville. Small-Stokes explained in a 2021 Facebook post that the idea was born after her phone translated the Apostles' Creed to the Sparkle Creed. Small-Stokes recently shared a video of a drag revival from a group called Drag Daddy Productions on her Facebook page.
Yeah,
Helgen is one of two pastors at Edina Community Lutheran Church, ECLC, which says it's currently on a long-term journey to become an anti-racist congregation.
Just, God doesn't know colors, man.
The Lutheran Church also endorses eco-faith and abortion and holds monthly anti-racism vigils. Okay. According to church documents, the monthly events are a response to the racism of religious institutions. Visits regularly remind us that it has often been religious institutions that have been the perpetrators of discrimination and racism, and so religious institutions not only need to confess their past, but decide to change, the document reads. The church began holding the vigils during the trial of Derek Chauvin. ECLC is also connected to the Minnesota Freedom Fund, a controversial bail fund group that ECLC describes as a mission partner. According to the church's website, the ECLC cash bail team works to reform the cash bail system with the goal of systemic equity. That's a meaningless two words. That doesn't mean anything. The church's website says its integration of social justice issues goes back as far as the 1980s when it led classes on protesting. In 1992, the church held a seminar on anti-racist children's literature. All right. Let me go back to something.
Everybody's picking this up. Bill O'Reilly, the Daily Caller. There's a whole bunch of this and they're specifically talking about this congregation in Minnesota.
It seems like they hate Jesus.
Sheen addressed this. Let me find the paragraph in that piece that was given to us.
Oh, I was going to say.
Bear with me.
This seems like the opposite of faith-based religion based on Jesus and God and all that other good stuff.
Then the great bishop said something that at first seems shocking as we look at today. The new era into which we are entering is what might be called the religious phase of human history. But he quickly said this did not mean men will turn to God. Rather, they'll turn from indifference to having a passion for an absolute. The struggle will be for the souls of men. The conflict of the future is between the absolute, who is the God-man, and the absolute, which is the man-God. I think we're seeing the absolute becoming the man-God.
Yeah.
The God who became man and the man who makes himself God, brothers in Christ and comrades in Antichrist. The people expressing these views in Edina have abandoned the guardrail of the God-man. And they've taken it upon themselves to completely reinvent that which Sheen believed was a framework that kept us on the straight and narrow, that kept us functioning
Fear of God?
as a civil society with moral and ethical integrity. Now, there's nothing immoral about being gay. I want to be understood about that. That's not what I'm talking about. But the decline of moral and ethical integrity can certainly creep in when you abandon any notion of what constructs right and wrong.
Yes.
And okay, cash bail, for example. They believe that a black guy in jail is there as the result of systemic inequity. No, he's there because he drove 95 miles an hour and killed 5 women.
Right.
When you abandon that truth, then you can see where anything goes. Anything goes.
Right.
Because you've got no guardrails left. And it took 76 years for Sheen's observations to become evident before us every day in the daily newspapers. And now here at the Edina Lutheran Church, where they now read the Sparkle Creed. I wonder what Sheen would think of this. I wonder what he would say.
This has got to be the beginning of the end for the Lutheran Church. I can't imagine this is going over very well.
I don't think your lutefisk eaters are ready to do the Sparkle Creed, huh?
Well, if you go back to Sheen in this document we just read, he said Lutheranism, he said religion will survive. What about the people?
Will survive in what form?
I have the whole Sparkle Creed, if you'd like to hear it.
I do want to hear it. It's
tough. I've read it. It's ridiculous. You read most of it, actually. Go ahead.
I believe in the non-binary God whose pronouns are plural. I believe in Jesus Christ, their child. Who's there?
That part I don't get.
You're getting distracted again.
Who wore a fabulous tunic and had 2 dads.
He was fancy.
I'm a little hung up on the 2 dads. And who saw everyone as a sibling child of God.
Wait. Maybe it's Joseph and God. Jesus' 2 dads.
Maybe that's it. I believe in the rainbow spirit who shatters our image of one white light. Okay. May I attempt to interpret that line?
No, because I'm not.
The one white light would be God, in my estimation, and the rainbow spirit is that with which you would wish to introduce in place of a one white light. One white light is too patriarchal. It's too non-encompassing. We want the rainbow spirit.
So when you're on your last straw and you see the light, they want it to be a rainbow instead of you're walking toward the bright white light.
I'll accept that.
Okay. Rainbow would freak me out. I think I'd just rather rainbow. You don't know where you're going. White light, you know you're going to heaven.
I believe in the rainbow light. No, I'm sorry. I believe in the rainbow spirit who shatters our image of one white light and refracts it into a rainbow of gorgeous diversity. But diversity is a fact. There's really nothing to celebrate about diversity. It's a fact. It's not a theory. It's not an idea. It's not a painting. It's a fact. You're black, I'm white, you're a woman, I'm a man, you're tall, I'm short. That's diversity. It's a fact.
And as that rainbow light is coming toward you when you're walking down the tunnel,
you really got to watch yourself now.
Yeah, you would say something like, "Is this heaven?" And somebody takes you by the hand and says, "No, we're going to the heaven. We're going down to the 90s over there, and we're going to go hang out."
I believe in the Church of Everyday Saints. Okay,
that's a good sign.
As numerous, creative, and resilient as patches on the AIDS quilt. Oh, well, okay. Whose feet are grounded in mud and whose eyes gaze at the stars in wonder. I believe in the calling to each of us that love is love is love, so beloved, let us love. I believe, glorious God. Well, we're back to a believing in glorious God. I believe, glorious God, help my unbelief. Amen. That's the Sparkle Creed. And this Ann Helgen,
help my unbelief?
whoever she is, she's consumed a 50-gallon drum of the Kool-Aid.
Yeah, she whipped this up a few years ago.
But she didn't write this, remember. This was the...
I thought you were referring to the gal that did write it.
So the gal that did write it
She's
is
Tennessee?
Rachel Small-Stokes
Yeah, there it is.
from
Yeah,
Louisville,
Stokes.
Kentucky.
Okay,
And she drank the 55-gallon of Kool-Aid in a 2021 Facebook post. Because somehow her phone... what is this deal here? Her phone translated the Apostles' Creed to the Sparkle Creed.
That doesn't sound anything like...
Well, can I make my phone do that? Is
AI.
Is that what the phone does?
I wonder what it would do to the GL Creed. Anything that needs figuring out can be figured out in the garage. How would that change?
We should do that.
Well, do it.
I don't know how to
do it.
I'd just be staring at my phone forever.
How did her phone translate the Apostles' Creed to the Sparkle Creed?
She's got one of them there apps.
And why did Small-Stokes feel it necessary to share a video of a drag revival from a group called Drag Daddy Productions on her Facebook page?
Drag Daddy.
Oh, that sounds...
What does that have to do with... What does that... See how we struggle? What the hell does any of this have to do with anything?
Yeah.
What the hell?
Well, let them have their fun.
Well, what are you going to do?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. Pick another church. I've always wondered about Lutherans. I notice they don't like singing the hymns when it comes time to sing. Not a lot of them are singing.
I don't follow church news despite my fascination with this kind of information. I've never been to a Lutheran ceremony. I don't know what. Is there a lot of singing?
The pews are padded. That's one.
Ain't
that's
got no
one thing
kneelers
right there.
Yeah, but
we don't. No, nobody. Only the Catholics bother with the whole kneeling and.
But we got
deal.
padded
We all
kneelers.
have bad knees.
No, we got padded kneelers.
We don't have to go down on our knees.
There's not enough padding on them. I think they give you...
You don't have padded kneelers?
We do, but they're thinly padded. It wasn't... they didn't...
We got a
they
nice
didn't go
padded.
overboard.
We got a nice padded kneeler where I go. Is that padded kneeler?
I was just in there recently for
wasn't it
function.
padded?
You guys
Yeah, it was
have a
comfortable.
whole different set of concerns over there at the Catholic Church. All I care about is you belting out that hymn. When it comes time to sing, let's make a glorious noise unto the Lord. I don't care how out of
We
key
do
you
that.
are.
We got a choir.
Sometimes the Catholic Church, though, it's just...
glory.
Hey, GLers, I got a great weekend ID for you.
Ooh, what is it?
Not ID. You'll need your ID.
Okay.
I got a great weekend idea
Where
for
am I
you.
going?
Reavers wanted to let you know that Harmony Spirits is having its annual car show this Saturday to kick off the 4th of July weekend.
Where?
10 a.m. to 3 p.m.
Where?
Is it Harmony Spirits in Harmony, Minnesota?
Yes, it is.
Oh, perfect road trip.
It is a great road trip. 10
First
a.m. to
Ave.
3 p.m. is the car show. They'll have 60 vintage cars, a Bloody Mary special from 10 a.m. to noon. They'll also be serving great cocktails made with Harmony Spirits, including Blackberry Mojito, Min Tai, and the Whoop-de-Doo. It's a great way to start off the weekend. If you've got a car to show, bring it down. Registration starts at 9 a.m. Harmony Spirits in Harmony, Minnesota is a proud supporter of GL. Show your support. Head down there this weekend and have some fun. Harmony Spirits is located in Harmony, Minnesota, right on the border on Highway 52.
This is Ricey, and you've heard me discuss my relationship with Josh Arnold for some time. The reason I recommend that you give Josh a call is simple: trust and results. Josh has seen it all when it comes to economic and market conditions. As has been said through all of our relationship, past results do not guarantee future returns, and while that is true, Josh can make sure that your retirement objectives match your investments. You can understand that Josh will make sure you are not paying more in fees than you are seeing in returns. Yep, that is more common than you would like to think in the investment business. Do yourself a favor and have a booking with Josh for the 48-minute free evaluation. This is a no-obligation meeting. Call Josh at 952-925-5608. You will be glad you did, and don't forget to ask him why it is 48 minutes.
Investment services offered by Josh Arnold Investment Consultant LLC, a security investment advisor. Past performance is no guarantee of future results. All investments involve risk. All comments and opinions are Josh Arnold's and do not constitute investment advice.
Patrick Royce is a paid endorser.
Here's a man who spends hours in hardware stores, sifting through the nuts and bolts of life. Joe Souchere.
So the latest video floating around on social of me hanging out at Tri-State a month or so ago, trying out the Fecon mulching tractor with the bull hog attachment.
Sweet.
This thing, I'm going to warn you, it costs more than a couple of houses, but you can take down an entire forest if need be. Leave the chainsaw, the log chains, the tractors, the excavators, leave it all at home in the shop. All you need is the Fecon. You can find that at Tri-State Bobcat, Little Canada, Hudson, St. Croix Falls, soon to be St. Croix Falls, and down in Burnsville. Those are all Tri-State locations here in the Twin Cities. And one of the biggest lines they carry among many is Toro. And they still have this big sale going on. $500 discount on the 54-inch MyRide Zero Turn. Final price $4,199. The notable thing here is you can use that in tandem with 0% financing for 42 months. And actually, you can use that rebate on most standard MyRide Time Cutter Zero Turn mowers right now. You try them out. I promise you, sit on one in the showroom floor. You're going to love it. It's like sitting on a cloud. It's a magic carpet, and it's fast and it's fun. The 50-inch Time Cutter, that price remains $37.99, but that includes a 5-year warranty, extended warranty from Toro, a $460 value. And these are great deals from two great companies, Toro and Tri-State Bobcat. Like I said, they're about to open in St. Croix Falls right there on Highway 8. So as soon as you bounce over the river, there's your Tri-State for you. They're also in Hudson, Little Canada, and Burnsville, and of course Mankeys down in Owatonna. See everything, including the Fecon, at tristatebobcat.com.
I think nature looks at us sometimes and says, "Who are you people kidding? Who in the hell do you think you're fooling?"
And that's what people can't get over. They think they can control hurricanes, snowstorms.
Baseball-size hail took out a 5.2 megawatt solar farm in Scottsbluff, Nebraska last Friday as part of a giant supercell thunderhead that moved across eastern Wyoming and into Nebraska.
Wow.
The hail shattered most of the panels on the solar project, sparing an odd panel like missing teeth and a smile. Wyoming has only one commercial-scale solar farm, but a second project is under construction south of Cheyenne. The Federal Emergency Management Agency thinks this area is the highest category for hail risk on the national index. Don Day, Cowboy State Daily meteorologist, said the hail would have reached terminal velocity during its descent, which is the maximum speed an object will reach when falling. Uh-huh. That seemed unnecessary to say. Isn't that perfectly obvious? The hail would have likely struck the panels going 100 and 150 miles an hour, and the whole region experienced strong storms. So let me get this straight. Did you ever think about hail when you were building a solar farm?
They did, according to what I'm reading. But from, again, what I'm seeing on the internet, most solar panels are built to withstand up to an inch in diameter of hail falling at, pregnant pause, 50 miles per hour.
Well, apparently, apparently, what's in play here is how fast do hail fall?
I like the term terminal velocity.
Terminal velocity.
That's WFO, man. That is wide open.
I just by looking at it, looks destroyed, said Kevin Spencer, Scotts Bluff city manager. Spencer said there's more to a solar farm than just the panels, and so some of the equipment at the farm might have survived the storm. He said he was previously told the panels were hail-proof, but that might have meant hail up to a certain size.
Hail, no.
Yeah, what do we got here? Well, you got to destroy. I'm looking at the pictures. The hail was very indiscriminate. It just attacked anything it happened to fall on.
It's funny how Mother Nature does that, Such.
Yeah. The Mother Nature looked at the people at the solar farm and said, who are you people kidding? Look at the size of the hail I got for you.
Right. Mother Nature said, hold my beer.
Yeah, Mother Nature said, hold my beer. And then you got this story from a solar farm. Where's this one? This is where nature said, who are you people kidding? Massive solar development projects in Southern California have strained local water availability, threatening desert ecosystems and angering residents who have been impacted by the strain on the water supply, according to an Inside Climate News report. The small communities around Desert Center, California, depend on naturally occurring underground water reserves known as groundwater aquifers, but the water-intensive development and process for large solar panels has caused groundwater levels to fall. According to Inside Climate News, crucial local water wells have dried up and land beneath homes has sagged as a result of development activity, which desert ecosystems have been damaged as well. Locals complain that the Bureau of Land Management and the corporations driving the developments in California's Colorado desert have not allowed them to provide sufficient input in the decision-making process for the developments, according to Inside Climate News. Despite the BLM's assurances that renewable energy development on BLM-managed public lands will continue to help communities across the country be part of the climate solution while creating jobs and boosting local economies, B as in B, S as in S. Residents say that they have not reaped much benefit from the solar projects at all, while the strain on their groundwater has intensified. Well, okay. You build the solar farm. Why do they need the water? This story doesn't.
Water is life, Joe.
Anyway, they're sucking all the water up from beneath the desert floor for the solar panels. In the meantime, the people, but Mysterians don't like people. In the meantime, the people are suffering because they have no access to the water they were once accustomed to from the aquifer. You just sometimes you just can't win for losing.
You can't win for losing.
Is what I would say.
Plus, remember over the winter after that big blizzard, all of those solar panels in the St. Cloud and St. Joseph area, they all had about 4 inches of snow on them for over a week.
Yeah, that's when nature said, "Who do you think you're kidding?" Say,
are you aware that there is a town council takeover of Target Field?
Yeah, and the tickets are going fast.
They are going fast, and they're free tickets for your, if you're a Garage Logic Town Council member, you can reserve your 2 free tickets at garagelogic.com. Tickets are on a first-come, first-served basis and will go quickly.
Okay. Because we're taking over Target Field Friday, July 21st, Minnesota, hosting the White Sox. All of us will be there.
Yes.
Seriously, what's it cost just for a month membership?
It's
$10.
$10.
Well,
less than that, $100 for the year.
Mm-hmm. But I mean, if you want to be a cheapskate, just buy the month-long membership, get your tickets, There you go.
Well, I got a note today from the powers that be,
evil mind,
that say we don't want to say we haven't mentioned this enough, but already 40% of the tickets have been claimed. Get on the. How do you do it, Rook?
Just go to garagelogic.com and you will click on the Garage Logic Town Council button, and then they'll walk you through it. You just reserve 2 tickets. Boom, you're done.
Oh, I got excuse me, I had a Royce-like gas attack. I got a note from a gal who said, well, I don't have social media. How do I get the tickets? You don't need social media to go to the Garage Logic site.
No, you can
go to the Garage Logic site. What do you find there, Rook?
There's
the Target Field Takeover?
Yeah, you just the Town Council Target Field Takeover. You click on that, and then you have to log in, and then you take your tickets.
That was pretty nice of Dave St. Peter to come up with this.
I think it really was.
Yeah.
It was a good idea.
May we take a time out,
Certainly. How about this button?
Since 1985, Air Mechanical has served the Twin Cities for their heating, cooling, plumbing, and electrical needs. They can also help you with drain cleaning, duct cleaning, and indoor air quality, serving the entire metro area. From general maintenance to full install, they got you. Furnace installs, boilers, heat pumps, garage heaters, and more, Air Mechanical employs top-trained tradespeople in the state of Minnesota. They operate with full integrity. They do things the right way, not the easy way. And their Total Solutions membership is like having Air Mechanical on retainer. Keep all of your home maintenance needs in one comprehensive membership. Select one tune-up a year and enjoy benefits like discounted maintenance, repairs, service, and equipment costs. Catch problems before they arise and keep your home's mechanicals running smoothly. We'd love it if you gave Air Mechanical a shout-out for any heating, cooling, plumbing, or electrical needs. Call or book online at thinkami.com. That's thinkami.com.
It's the end of the world as we know it, and he feels fine. Joe Souchere.
I ain't talking. I wish this kid would put out a video a day.
He should.
He's not interested in living up to your expectations of him.
That really frustrates me.
He's leading his own life with complete disregard from the boomers.
Yep, but man, is he good.
He's very good.
Yesterday, we were wondering, comparing the modern day city council members, basically are virtually just all activists. They've never really done anything. And we were wondering, well, who were the council members of yesteryear? And I got a note from Timbuktu who writes on yesterday's podcast, you were wondering about the difference between the present Minneapolis City Council and the ones who served a generation ago. 2 of the current city council members have 5 relatives who previously served on the council. And I think they offer a distinct contrast to what we see today. Emily Koski represents Ward 11. Her father was Al Hofstede, who was a member of the city council in the 70s and also served 2 terms as mayor. He was the first Catholic mayor of Minneapolis. Her aunt, Diane Hofstede, was a city council member from 2005 to 2013. Michael Rainville represents the 3rd Ward, and he has 3 relatives who previously served on the city council. His aunt is Alice Rainville, who served 20 years. His cousin is Barb Johnson, Alice Rainville's daughter, who served as city council president. Another cousin is John Darris, who served on the city council in the 70s. I don't think you would describe any of these 5 as professional activists. I would not. They had real jobs and real families. Michael Rainville worked for the Minneapolis Convention and Visitors Association. He has been married for 32 years and has 1 son. Emily Koski previously worked as a business analyst for Target Corporation and for a marketing consulting firm. Well, that is just, you don't get that today.
No, absolutely not.
Do you think this Aisha Chugati ever did anything like that?
No.
Say, it's interesting to note that the Minneapolis City Council gave rent control the thumbs down.
Under the cover of night?
Well, they had to do it while three guys were at Idolfitter. I got this one.
Shenanigans.
No, it was all on the up and up, apparently, in terms of state law. Said you need this many days' notice. Whatever the BS they came up with.
It's at about 4:45 the night before, and the council going, hey, you guys aren't going to be here tomorrow. You're going to Idolfitter? Okay, just double checking.
Well, they'll resurrect it. It's inevitable that the people you elect who don't know anything about money but love to spend your money will gladly put restrictions on developers and landlords. It just won't make this upcoming ballot.
And I love the people that are upset with this. The citizens that are upset with this are screaming and crying. Oh, bless you.
Me.
Because of when the vote was taken.
Mm-hmm.
But like you said, it was all on the up and up,
I think
so to speak.
I think so.
Yeah.
Only because they come to us all the way from Fernandina, Florida, and I was wondering why in God's name was I pronouncing that Fernandia?
Fernando?
Because I just didn't look at it closely enough.
It's a
From the traveling Lymans, it was on this day.
Today is the 29th of June.
Elizabeth Schuler Hamilton, widow of Alexander Hamilton, visited Fort Snelling and viewed points of interest, including Lake Calhoun, Minnehaha, and the Falls of St. Anthony.
In downtown Minneapolis.
She was one of the first female tourists to visit the area. It said she visited Bade-Makaska, but it wasn't called, I don't think it was even called Lake Calhoun in 1837. Maybe it was. On this day in 1854.
Are you inquiring about June 29th?
I am. The U.S. Congress established the principle of offering land grants to railroads. Federal land grants eventually totaled 10 million acres, 18.5% of the state's land, ranking Minnesota fourth among the states in acreage granted. We weren't even a state yet.
So James J. Hill would just go to the government and say, I'm going to build a railroad, and they would just give him the, 10 feet
I think
wide
that's a very simplified.
Well, it was more than just 10 by 10 or whatever, but I think that's the gist of it. I mean, that's how the Pacific Line was built, the Union Pacific Line.
The government just, imagine that, the government saying, let the private sector do it. We don't want to.
Oh, it was the most corrupt thing the United States has ever built, was the Union Pacific Line. It was incredibly corrupt. It was awesome. Yeah.
On this day in 1861, William James Mayo was born in Le Sueur. As an adult, he joined the medical practice of his dad, William Worrell Mayo, leading to the creation with his brother Charles of the Mayo Clinic.
I'm not asking, I'm asking as a serious question here. Why were they so much better? What was their twist?
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't
get it, but yeah, everybody says go to the Mayo.
On this day in 1863, a group of Dakota who had avoided capture after the 1862 war attacked the Dustin Farm near Howard Lake in Wright County and killed 4 settlers.
Oh, boy.
What date?
It was on this
June
day
29th.
in 1863.
63, right. Well, that was part of the,
Yeah. On this day in 1905,
29-6.
Chisholm, Minnesota's Archibald Moonlight Graham played his only game as a major leaguer with the New York Giants. He was celebrated in W.P. Kinsella's novel Shoeless Joe, later translated to the screen as Field of Dreams. Mm-hmm. If you build it, they will come.
If you build it.
They called it the Sioux Uprising, but it was more the Sioux saying, that's enough.
Yeah, we've had enough here.
That's enough.
Right.
Yep. On this day in 1916.
Okay, we're going to turn of the century there.
Oh, wait. The Dakota War was 62. You said 63.
No.
Well, they hit out for a while. Then
I can
jumped on the settlers.
Go back to it.
I can repeat it so that you would understand it. I
spend my whole afternoon studying this now.
Okay, I said on this day in 1863, a group of Dakota who avoided capture in 1862 attacked the Dustin Farm.
Gotcha. Okay. Thank you.
On this day in 1916, reflecting nationwide attitudes about prohibition, Duluth adopted a ban on alcohol sales within the city.
How'd that work out?
Not too well. And finally, on this day...
This is June 29th, 2003.
In 1922, John W. Vesey Jr. was born in Minneapolis. Vesey lied about his age to join the Minnesota National Guard in 1939. In World War II, he fought in North Africa and Anzio, Italy, where he won a Bronze Star and earned a battlefield commission as an officer. He won a Distinguished Service Cross in Vietnam and served as chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff under President Ronald Reagan from 1982 to 1985.
Wow, the true American badass.
I'll say. How old was he? If he was born in 1922, how old was he in 1939? 17?
110.
Yeah.
17,
probably
18.
No. Let's see. 1939.
Plus 9 divided by 4.
1939,
17.
1922, 7.
1922.
7 and 1.
17. He was 17 when he joined and became quite notable.
Yes.
Thank you, GLers. We'll be back tomorrow.
We ain't going nowhere. Remember that guy?
What the hell?
Haven't done that one in a while. Hey,
What?
I've done this one before, though. Going to PodMN on your smartphone. Super easy to do. And there's a library of podcasts that will suit you, and you can have a listen. That's PodMN on your smartphone. We talked earlier about the Garage Logic Town Council Target Field Takeover. Well, you got to be on the council to go. You can still sign up right now, though. Go to GarageLogic.com, pay your $10 a month or $100 a year, and you'll be a member of the Garage Logic Town Council, eavesdropping in the studio while we are on break. What will we say? It might surprise you. Subscribe to Garage Logic on the YouTube page, and remember, for the 30th anniversary, the shop is open, baby. Get your garb at garagelogic.cha.
It is time once again to check in with our guy, Mr. Money Talk, Josh Arnold, who's on the line with us. No better time than right now to pick up the phone and give Josh a call for that free 48-minute financial consultation. All you have to do is dial 952-925-5608. That number again, 952-925-5608. You make that call and you get Josh, who always gives you straight talk without sugar-coated advice. And today we have some good news, at least I think. The GDP is up, Mr. Arnold.
Gross domestic product number is revised up. So this is from several months ago. When the GDP number came out, it was at 1.3%. And this is the third revision of this report. And now that report shows a 2% GDP growth. Wow. That's a big revision up. And that either the government statistics are wrong or were wrong initially on the strength of the economy, or we'll say we have some politically motivated individuals trying to make the administration's policies look a lot better than they are. In any case, the GDP report revisions, which are actually coming out a few weeks before the GDP number comes for this current quarter, and we are completing quarter tomorrow, as well as the end of the first 6 months. So that could also give the stock market a boost going into, and I'm going to almost say, a long holiday weekend. The markets are only open a half a day on Monday, closed on Tuesday for July 4th, and then we start what is typically a weak quarter for the stock market, as we'll say traders go on vacation in July and August. And then we have, we'll say, dreaded slow months for the stock market, or underperforming months typically in September and October, before you get a year-end push in November and into Christmas. Geez, now I'm starting to say, boy, summer has gone pretty fast. And instead of talking about baseball, we'll be talking about football. And now if I start talking about football, then I'll start talking about companies like Flutter that owns FanDuel, and a favorite of mine, DraftKings, and some of the other sports betting companies. So we don't want to get too far ahead of ourselves in talking about that. But my sense is the economy, broadly speaking, could be seen as being a lot more resilient than the Federal Reserve had thought. And the Fed speak has been dominating my conversations, as well as dominating the, some market action on a macro basis for over the last year and a half, since the Fed has been aggressive in raising interest rates as they fight to bring down inflation to their 2% target. Jay Powell, in a speech yesterday, said the Fed is still has that 2% target for inflation, and they are going to continue to be, we'll say, higher for longer, because inflation is still very difficult, of course, given the price of housing and wages are still up. But the GDP number is still pretty good in my estimation. But it does give market watchers the idea that the Fed will raise interest rates in July and probably again at their next meeting in the fall. I have been a little cautious, I'll say, in saying do expect a market pullback coming up, and use that market pullback as a chance to pick up some high-quality companies at a discount. Now, aside from talking about the Fed, we still have a few earnings reports to talk about. Micron reported last night, and Micron's news was a little positive for chips. As Micron said that they're seeing an end to the glut in certain types of chip, and given demand for, storage chips and memory chips due to artificial intelligence, that should be a big boost for their business going forward. They are concerned about headwinds coming from China, and given some of the government restrictions about certain types of chips being exported to China, that should still be a cautious flag to not overweight any position in chips. And tonight, Nike reports their numbers, and that'll be an interesting tell on consumer sales, particularly with an old favorite company. So still plenty of excitement in the market.
Thank you, Josh. Really appreciate it.
You have a very good weekend, and we will talk again after the holiday.
Yeah, do your best to stay active, but stay cool as well. Plenty hydrated over the next week or so.
Oh, yes.
That is Mr. Money Talk, Josh Arnold, and yes, it is summertime indeed. You heard him, GLers. Always great information from Josh. Now is the time. Pick up that phone, make the call for that free 48-minute financial consultation. Just dial 952-925-5608. That's 952-925-5608. You know you will always get straight talk, and you'll never get sugar-coated advice.